Hi there, welcome to Transcona Trailer Sales. Today we'll be walking through your 2011 Gulfstream Conquest 269Bhl. We are just going to start off in the back of the unit. Right at the back, you got your spare tire. And then coming around to the driver's side of the unit, through the bumper cap, both sides are accessible. You're just pulling on that bumper cap. That's typically where you're going to want to store your sewer hose after your first use. We do have a brand new one located in one of the compartments, which is why there's not one in there yet. Then in this corner, as well as all four corners of the unit, you do have these stabilizer jacks. The way they work is you're going to hook up your 3/4 inch drive tool to the 3/4 inch drive nut, run this foot down to the ground. Once the foot does contact the ground, just giving it an 1/8 turn, snug it up. It's going to take any bounce or sway you see have in the unit right now away. And just a couple notes about it. They are stabilizing jacks, they aren't leveling jacks. Please don't try to use them as so, otherwise you do run the risk of bending them, and the same does go for if you're running them up or down with an impact. Up here, you're gonna notice you do have a coax inlet, and then you get your 30 amp plug-in. It's a standard plug-in. Most campsites should have this, you can plug right on in. This cord is about 15 feet long once fully extended. Once you plug in, you're good to go. Now, sometimes you may have the unit at home and you wanna plug in, or your campsite only has 15 amp service, which is your standard household outlet. We do include that park adapter inside the starter kit. Just keep it in mind whenever you are using it. It's realistically just to run your fridge and your lights. You're not going to be able to run your air conditioner off of that. To our left, you got your city water connection. So if you're at a site with service, you just thread a garden hose in there. Turn it on. It's going to pressurize all those lines so that you need to run your water pump. You got your outside shower. That opens up just your standard 751 key, which should come included with your unit. And then right down below, you got that sewer cap. Taking and twisting that guy off. Your sewer hose is going to have the same ears. They line up with the knobs as so, lock into place. And then you got your gray valve and your black valve. You always want to empty your black valve first. This will be your dirtiest water filled from your toilets, and then you can come behind that with your gray valve. Typically a little cleaner water filled from your sinks and your showers. Now coming up ahead, you're going to come to the first side of your storage compartment. It does go right through to the other end, and that's where you're going to find that starter kit. And inside that starter kit, you get that 10-foot sewer hose. It also comes with a 15-foot water hose and some other miscellaneous goodies, including that 15 amp park adapter. Now around the front of the unit, you got your battery box, and inside there is your 27 RV battery, or sorry, 24 RV battery. Underneath this cover, you get your 2 standard propane tanks. Most of the time you get what you need done just by lifting up on the cover. But for the purpose of the video, we'll just hold this right out of place. In which case, you got the 2 tanks right up front. You got your selector valve with it pointed this way. You're obviously drawing off this tank. If this tank were to go dry, close it off, flip it over to the other side while this one's getting filled up. Counterclockwise, like any standard barbecue, to open up the flow to the unit. Yeah, come around to this side, get that other side of the storage compartment, opening that guy up. That is where you're going to get access to this tool here, which is going to help you put down your stabilizer jacks. And then you also got your awning rod tool. To get your awning out, works pretty simple. I'm going to have to make sure that the arms are unclipped on both sides, front and top and bottom. Just unclipping them out of their holders. Then if you come over to this side here, you're gonna have this switch right up top with it in that position there. It's to roll in. If you pull on it with your awning rod tool, that's gonna unlock it. Then you can go to your little strap here, hook in your tool, pull towards you. That awning is gonna start rolling its way out. Of course, just making sure that this side is undone. So, once you get to be able to pull it by hand, just to easy there. So that's about all we're going to go out today, just due to space. But then you can now take these arms, obviously loosening them off, getting them up way up to the top here. This is how you would do it. We don't have the awning out all the way, so they're not going to go, it's not going to go quite all the way up. So there we go, we got it. Once you snap that into place in there, be able to firm it up and be able to adjust your pitch, be able to adjust your height and everything just by using this guy here, by lifting up and pulling down. If it were to start raining, you're going to want to make sure that you have that pitch so that water can run off. And of course, always keep an eye on the wind speeds whenever you do have this awning out. That way you don't run the risk of bending your arms or ripping your fabric. Take it down, you'd have to make sure you reset both these arms back into their original positions, making sure you grab a firm hold on your strap. You're going to want to make sure this strap is going to be able to slide in this channel. You're going to want it close by, because as soon as you do flick this switch back to that up position, the awning's going to be under some tension. It's going to ratchet towards the unit. If you're not holding onto the strap, it's going to go rip roaring in and slam into the side of the unit. You don't want that. Just grab a good hold on it, allow it to make its way up. Once it gets to a point where you can't reach it, you can just hook up your tool back into it. Allow it to go the rest of the way. Locks in place. At that point, clicking and locking your arms back into place. Sticking your tool back in your compartment, close everything up. Get your fresh water fill. So if you're out boondocking or your campsite doesn't have water, that's how you can siphon water in using a garden hose or just anything. Opening up this guy, you get access to your bypass valves for winterization. It's also a little storage compartment. Just keep it in mind whenever using the storage in this compartment, as well as any storage inside the unit, just keeping an eye on the drains, water lines, and wiring. You're not going to be wanting to affect any of that. Opening up this guy, this is the service port for your hot water heater. You got your 1.1/8" drain bolt right down there at the bottom, loosening that guy, pulling it out. That's going to be how you drain your tank. Whenever you first get to your campsite, you're going to want to give that pressure relief valve a pull. There should be a shot of water coming out of there, letting you know that the tank's full and safe to fire up. We currently have the tank drained because we're not sure the next time you're going to use it. I'm going to go over a reset procedure once we get inside. The reset button I'm going to tell you is just right here. Now to get inside the unit, you just fold the stairs down like they are so by pulling them towards you. Take your assist handle, push it up, and push it up and fold it 90 degrees, making sure you do push it all the way up so it hurts. Walk it back down. That'll allow you to open up your door. Taking a step along the side, first thing you notice off on the left is that fire extinguisher, which is just like home. Pull the pin and shoot. You got some light switches on the wall here, which is going to do a porch light as well as a couple interior lights, so you can see what you're doing once you get inside. Get your slide out control, pretty self-explanatory. Push the button down, it's going to start making its way out. Before you do that though, it's always a good idea to make sure you do a visual check inside and out. The reason I say inside is making sure nothing got caught during travel or shifted. Anything getting caught in between the slide out and the wall, which is going to cause some damage. And of course, just on the outside, making sure you do have enough room to go all the way out with the slide out. Push and hold that button down, the slide out's going to start making its way out. Once it is at its full extension, you're going to hear the motors wind up and click. So you heard the clicking, so now you know you're at your full extension. Now first thing you're going to notice, probably off to your right, is going to be that entertainment center. Stereo down below, pretty much just like home, not much I'm going to show you there. You got this little coax cable antenna outlet. This little button here turns this green light on. That does turn the antenna on the roof. It's also going to improve radio frequency and cell phone frequency, but we do recommend turning it off whenever you're not using the unit because it does draw battery power. Got a little bracket here in case you wanted to mount a TV. Then opening up the bedroom door towards you, taking a step on inside, you're going to notice that light switch is on your right. You get your bedroom space, fire exit over there, screen pops right out of the way. You can pick up that handle, push it out, hop on out of the unit. Of course, trying to go feet first, but if there is a fire, just try and get out of the unit as quickly as possible. Picking up the foot of the bed. Some storage space for any sort of blankets or anything you wanted to put in there, and it's on a gas strut system, so that's how you're gonna lift that up and down. Now this entertainment center, one thing I didn't mention about it, just keep an eye on the cords whenever you're doing this. You can flip it right around so that the TV can go inside, and now this mirror is facing outside, depending on where you want to watch it. place. Storage all around, of course. You got your couch. It is a pull-out couch. You just have to pick up at the foot of it, pull towards you, and it would allow itself to fold down. You have another fire exit over here. Windows all around. All the blinds here are going to work the same way. They're just kind of standard household blinds. You pull it one way. It's going to allow them to retract themselves down. Then pulling it the other way locks them into place. You got your adjustable shutters. Pull them all the way up to go up. Now you got your kitchen area. Pretty self-explanatory. Except this main GFI plug here on the wall. 90% of the plugs are going to be hooked up through GFI. So you got test on the left, reset in the middle. If you ever have an outlet that doesn't work, this would be the first place I'd look, just making sure that that isn't tripped. Now all the rest of the lights in this unit are on their own center push buttons. You can turn them on and off as you desire. Except for the bathroom one, it's going to be on that switch. Now if you notice right down over here, because we are equipped with propane, you got your LP detector right here near the ground. If that guy does ever start going off, just turn off the main supply of propane at the front of the unit, open up some windows and vents to get some fresh oxygen inside of here. Now, because we're speaking about propane, we can come to your stove and I can show you how to light that right now. Because I'm going to go over a few notes. Whenever you turn the propane system off, the front of the unit allows air into the system. Once air makes its way in, it does have to be purged out. Now, the quickest, easiest way to do that is through your stove because you get to decide how long it runs for. The reason I say that is because if you go to fire up your water heater or your furnace, those will only try lighting themselves a couple times before they throw a fault code at you. And if you don't know what the fault code means, it can throw a little frustration at you. We don't want that. We do want to keep you having a good time. So again, just come into your stove. You'd have to have a lighter with you, which I unfortunately today do not have on me. But you just turn this over to the light option, hit it with the lighter, and eventually it would light. Sometimes it can take a few minutes, but most times it does fire up pretty quickly. But again, if you're ever running, being safe about it, because if you run this without having a lighter around it, it's getting propane fumes into the air. So then if there were to be a combustion, it could cause a small combustion, and if you had your face nearby, you're probably going to lose some eyebrows and eyelashes. Again, that's another thing we're going to want to avoid. So just being safe whenever you are using the stove and the oven can get take exceptionally long to light, and it works the same way, except you're turning it over to the pilot option, pushing and holding that knob in. You hold your lighter down by the gas orifice over here. Once that pilot lit and is able to stay lit without you pushing into the knob, you can turn it up to your desired temperature and it would fire right on up. Put your main fuse and breaker panel over here. All your breakers are on the left. Whenever one trips, it'll sit in the middle, so you just have to turn it off and then back on again to reset it. And you have all your corresponding fuses on the other side, on the right. Got your fridge over here, fridge freezer combo. The controls for both are just right up top there. Obviously, the coldest option is going to be up past 3, and the warmer option is going to be 0. Thermostat for your AC and your furnace. Whenever you're using your AC or your furnace, I always recommend using the auto section. That way it creates an on-demand system, and if you're going to be using the heat, you have to keep it on the auto section. Otherwise, when you go to fire up your furnace, your air conditioner is going to continue running, which is defeating the purpose. You got your temperature dial here, so you can set your room temperature. And then you got your fan mode up top. Cool is going to use the air conditioner, in which case it's going to move its air through the ceiling ducting you have throughout. You also have this quick dump option, so you can just dump it all into the main living space. Or you can turn it over to the fan option, in which case you're just going to be moving air around with using the air conditioner. Or there's the heat option, which again is going to fire up your furnace, and that operates off propane. It's always good to purge the system before you use that. Got your double bunk space, another fire exit over there. Then you got your monitor panel in addition to your water pump switch. Turn that water pump on, does draw out of your fresh tank. And then you got all your different corresponding levels. Pushing the button just tells you the corresponding level. Kitchen sink, vanity up top, and then opening up the bathroom, light switch on the left, pretty standard. Toilet, shower, light switches on the wall. You already got a max air cover inside of here, which is good. Now that is going to be it for this unit, minus, forgot to tell you, sorry, quick before that, water heater, turn that switch on. Water heater is going to try lighting itself 3 times. If on the 3rd try it doesn't light, this light is going to stay on. In that case, turn this switch off, go hit that reset button I showed you earlier, and then come try turning it back on, and it should reset itself and try lighting. Again, it could just be a purging issue. Now that's it for this unit here. If you have any other questions, feel free to give us a call.